incredible lifestyle. And what we're seeing, what are we seeing with Agile Enterprises? Because of all the things we're describing, we're seeing superstar, successful, millionaire people, top level executives in companies, people who own their own big businesses and small businesses that are successful already, coming in and creating an additional leverage opportunity in their life, an additional safety net. Because in my neighborhood, guess what? The average house in my neighborhood is $1.7 million, something like that. Well, guess what happens? About once a month, somebody slinks out in the night because their business went under, because they got fired, because they worked at Arthur Andersen and they were a partner and they lost everything when Arthur Andersen went under, because something that they couldn't foresee happened and they disappear. Because they didn't have a safety net. They were so cool and they thought they had the world by the tail. The real intelligent entrepreneurs like you are building their plan B, are building their total kind of golden parachute while they're in their cash flow situations.
That's right. And let me kind of get back to that other thought for a second. It's really important. Randy Gage wants drinking out of the coconut money. Well, I want to tell you, as a newcomer looking at the industry, that the vast majority of compensation plans do not allow drinking out of the coconut money. It requires constant, ongoing, lifelong participation. You don't know that when you first get involved, but there are few instances in this industry where that dead walk-away income becomes operative. See, I'm one of the people who's lived it. The last 3 years that I was involved with the company, my last affiliation, I made $9 million. You know what, guys? Those were $9 million during years when I didn't work. Why? Because I had worked so hard and done it well in the years past. So my first requirement, generate a substantial income quickly. My second requirement, be able to do so on a very part-time basis. My third requirement, walk away income. Build it, walk away, if that's what you choose to do. And my fourth requirement, people have asked me so many times, Randy, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And I said, well, for me, it's really simple. I've made $3 million a year, a lot of years, but I've never really made the big money. That's why I'm doing it, because the big money is something so much bigger than that. And I think the biggest checks ever generated in network marketing are coming out of Agile, specifically because of that term that Randy called the leverage matching bonus, and maybe of greater importance because there are so few people who will have that kind of dream and vision. I think that the largest number of truly meaningful checks ever created by a network marketing company will be created by Agile.
All right, guys, we've talked about the company itself, we talked about the products, and we've talked a little bit about the compensation plan. My encouragement to anybody here is go do a little bit of homework on this compensation plan. Get the materials, check it out online. We're confident that you're going to be blown away, as we were, and not only in the potential of it, but in the reality of it. I will tell you, I've understood the compensation plan much better when I got those checks and I was able to see, oh, that's how that part of that bonus works. Oh, that's how I can expect to see this thing grow. And it's been an experience unlike anything I've ever seen in my 18 years in this industry. The results are absolutely staggering. Very, very quick results, but on a very solid foundation. Usually somebody gets quick results, they're built on sand. This is a solid organization, so those checks are continuing to go up and up and up. All right, next thing we want to talk about is the timing. The company's great, product's great, compensation plan's great. There's a bunch of people that can say those three things. But when you talk about timing, they might be in an industry that's flat or in decline. What do you see here? Why now? In a company's first year in existence, why would you get involved with Agile Enterprises today?
Well, for me, this is a real easy one. I just remember so well when I first got involved in the industry, I joined a company that was doing around $40 million in monthly sales, and I was blown away by the size checks that were being created. But it became real evident to me in just a short few months that wasn't going to become reality for me. They had become a part of the foundation, and I was building upon their foundation. Now, my opportunity was still valid, but it was an income-generating opportunity. It was no longer a wealth-creating opportunity. Those days had passed in that company. What I want everyone reviewing this information to know and understand right now is that this is your chance, it is our chance together to be a part of the foundation. And those people who become a part of the foundation in Agile, and as we've referenced, the opportunity to be part of the foundation and not suffer the risk, typically a part and parcel of that, with the evidence is already so profound of our growth and success. Guys, I do wish that I could snap my fingers and cause you to know it like I do. This is a magic moment. And as I've stated so many times, I believe I've spent my entire career in preparation for this moment. Agile is in the launch phase of what I believe will be the most profound vertical thrust of growth globally that any network marketing company has ever seen. Just joining us won't make any difference, but if you join us and become a part of the reason for that growth, you can have what I describe as a breakthrough financial situation.
I think the real window here is something I like to call a legacy position. And by that, I mean you've got a spot in an organization with so much volume being produced underneath it, so many leaders underneath it. People are already trained. They got their daily, weekly, monthly method of operation. They're not working for you. They're not working for the company. They're working for themselves, building their own dream. There's so many people under there that if you got run over by a bus next week, that distributorship would continue to throw off that residual income every month to whoever you will the distributorship to. And yes, these distributorships are willable, transferable, sellable, all of those kind of things.
Hey, Randy, can I help just a little bit with that? Because I've heard you describe the legacy position, and I love it. But I've then had people ask me, well, how does that happen? Well, let me help with this. Let's say that Randy Gage gets involved, works the business, and now he's drinking his coconuts. How does it become a legacy? Why, when he starts drinking the coconuts, doesn't it stop? Well, it's real simple. Here's what I've learned. If you bring 3 people into the business, and those 3 people are having what I call a more positive life experience as a result of their affiliation with you, a more positive life experience, this is a combination of income, time freedom, personal satisfaction, and growth. Then, if you quit, it only takes 3 people having a more positive life experience than they had before you brought them into the business. That just made your position a permanent lifetime position. Now take it the next step. If you have 5 people who are having a more positive life experience, and they're making more money than they've ever made before. Now, not only will you have this leveraged income that we've described, where you can drink out of the coconuts and keep getting the money, now the money won't just keep coming. Now the money will actually grow. Why? Perfect clarity here. I bring 3 people into the business. The most money they've ever made before in their life is $25,000 a month. 5 years into it, they're each making $50,000 a month. And I call them and say, guys, it was a bad idea. Let's quit. Will they quit?
Ain't going to happen.
No.
They won't quit. They'll work harder. And now what'll happen is Randy's income will go up while he drinks out of his coconuts. And I apologize for interrupting, but I just want that clarity because I love your legacy position. Go ahead.
And so I look at this. I've been in 2 startup companies in my life, and both of them went out of business right on schedule at 2 years old. And before you say, oh, that's network marketing, no, that's just business. If you talk to the SBA, they'll tell you every 100 companies that start in 2 years, 80% of them will be out of business. The 20% that make it come back 5 years later, 80% of those will be out of business. Come back at the 10-year mark, and 80% of the people that were left will still be out of business. So that's all business. And what's the number one reason? Underfunded, not properly capitalized. So we already dealt with that issue. I mean, we've got a company. I want a company that's still going to be cashing my bonus checks in the year 2045. And I saw that with Agel. But with those 2 startup companies having that gun-shy thing, I looked at Agel and I really feel this is the first chance in my career that I have to build a legacy position. And I would bet for most of the people who are listening to this CD right now, I bet Agel is the first real viable chance you have for you to create a legacy position.
And if you take a look at any company, 5 years later, 10 years later, there's got to be a viable, ongoing opportunity to be able to make money. And in Agile Enterprises, there will be. You'll be able to go out and create some leverage 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But
and by the way, if you're wondering why, if you're listening to the tape, the answer is no company's ever opened with 12 countries.
No, right.
I mean, in 5 years from now, we'll be like getting to 20% of where we want to be, and the company will probably be open in another 20 countries. I mean, this is probably the most aggressive international expansion I've ever seen with a company, and this company may not mature till the year 2049.
Right, exactly. So you got... There is a baseline in any opportunity for a person to be able to go out there and create a living, to be able to go make money, to be able to maybe make more money than they've ever made before, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. But there is a window, and in my opinion, that window is about 2 years. The first 2 years of a company's existence is where the people who have the drink out of the coconut money show up. Those are the people who are part of the reason for the company's growth. And that's where we're at, guys. And we're at the front part of that first 2 years in a company's existence window. And because of the company itself, because of the cash behind it, because of the product being a breakthrough product, no competition, non-Me Too, totally sexy and accepted in the marketplace, because the compensation plan is proving to be a thing of beauty and absolute perfection. And because of this timing, people like ourselves have gotten involved. And I know when Randy Schroeder got involved, people say, oh, it's just one guy over there. And then I got involved. Oh, it's just Randy.